Hey, what's up, guys? All right, Brandon, NOVAEO founder here. All right, so this video is kind of twofold. So first of all, to the NOVAEO team members in our Amazon guild, this should strike you as being pretty awesome change. Then this video is also going out to new recruits, some applicants, because we're going to be recruiting more people to our Amazon guild. So let me first provide a little context for the applicants. Historically, the way we've been building our Amazon team is more based on skill set, meaning we have people that are dedicated to PPC, we have people that are dedicated to like all things A9 algorithm, SEO. We have content teams, etc. Everything is kind of just based on skill. Meanwhile, we actually have about like 6, 7, I don't know, soon to be 8 or 9 product brands and just as many Amazon stores or seller accounts. So what we're actually going to be shifting to now is we'll still maintain those horizontal, if we want to call it horizontal skills, but now we also want to build in a layer of people that are looking at things not from a specific skill level, but from a brand level or an Amazon store level. Each of our brands are separated per a different Amazon seller account. So while some people are looking across the board at a specific skill that's needed, other people are going to be looking at the overarching performance of one particular brand. And so internally, PPC guys, we are going to be asking you to jump into these, what we're calling the store lead role. And it's because you guys in the PPC realm have a very good understanding of basically SEO, basically how all things affect ranking. And you guys know how to read metrics, interpret data, all that stuff. So we're going to be asking you guys to be jumping into these store lead roles. And obviously we only have 3 of you guys right now, so that's why we're going to be recruiting more. But what's additional to all of this is we are also going to be on the lookout for an overarching Amazon lead / grand mentor. Now, for new recruits, what is a grand mentor? Okay, when we define something as a lead is someone that has, well, obviously leadership of project, personnel, resources, and there is a lot of overall responsibility for all things. Everyone that they are leading, they are responsible for basically all things that would be normal in a managerial position in some kind of corporate culture. But mentors and grand mentors is a little bit unique to NOVAEO. And what that is those are people whose role it is to basically gather more information about a particular skill or realm. So in this case, all things Amazon. So gather more information and then spread that information to the rest of the team. So it's basically to act as a prism where the information comes in, the wisdom comes in, and then it prisms out to the entire rest of those that are interested and in roles that are applicable to the knowledge that you're gaining. So ways to gain knowledge could be through, can be through and ought to be through all of the following and more. Things like networking, whether it's online networking like Facebook groups and stuff like that, going to meetups, all things like newsletters and just whatever like free information is out there, paid groups as well, like masterminds and that kind of stuff. And then a really important one for me is gathering your own information by testing out different ideas in the platform itself. And that's ultimately where I'm going to be a huge asset, is because I'm a nonstop waterfall of creative ideas we're testing out. So this video, this job application or this job ad is initially, we are just recruiting store leads. But if you are interested in this overarching, this is a combined role of being both the Amazon lead and the Amazon grand mentor, meaning you are in charge of making everyone that is doing tasking much more smart, much more intelligent in the realm of Amazon, also increasing the quality, but at the same time being an overarching person in charge of various KPIs. So that's a good way to define it. Leads are in charge of KPIs. Mentors and grand mentors are in charge of increasing the overarching intelligence and therefore quality of our team. And so we are actually looking for, in this case, someone to be an overarching lead and grand mentor. That's not always the case. Sometimes we have leads and grand mentors. In this case, we're looking for someone to be both a lead and a grand mentor, because we're able to do that because we want our store leads to be so autonomous that the overarching Amazon leadership is actually not going to be too massive of our role, because the autonomy of our store leads. So if you are interested, this goes to current team members, as well as if you are applying with us to join NOVAEO. Communicate if you are interested in being considered for the Amazon lead / grand mentor role. I'm not going to draw a firm line here because you never know who's going to apply, but it's very likely that no matter who it is, you'll get started in a store lead role, prove yourself, prove your teamwork, all that stuff. And then if you've communicated to us that you're interested in being the Amazon lead and grand mentor, then we will continue that conversation after some time goes on. But again, for new applicants, do communicate if that role is of interest to you and it's something that you want to be considered for. But most likely, you're still going to start in the Amazon store lead position. So with that, our Amazon store lead position, we are building currently various KPIs, nothing too creative, all the basic KPIs of listing conversion and CTR and all that stuff, both in the PPC realm and in the organic search realm. And then of course also just like net and gross profit. And then some various other KPIs as well, on a month-to-month basis and soon to be a quarterly basis, and probably even do 6-month and annual as well. We're going to start building targets into these KPIs, and with these targets are going to be associated incentives. The incentives are going to be at 3 levels ultimately. Every store lead is going to have targets and incentives at their own individual level. So a good portion of income is going to start from coming from hitting these targets on a monthly, quarterly, perhaps semi or annual level as well. So we're going to have the individual target and incentive, which is based on the store or brand. Then we're going to have a combined target, combined bonuses, where as a team, as an entire guild, our guild is anyone that's a guild inside NOVAEO is a collection of skills. So we have a creative guild, which is our creative directors, our copywriters, and our designers. And we have our Amazon guild, people that are coming to the table with significant Amazon knowledge. So we're going to have Amazon guild targets as well, which means combining all of the data from all of the stores into one bottom line target. And that's actually where we're going to be concentrating the most. We want the majority of income to come from those because we want you guys operating as a team. And that's what's going to be interesting about this role. So we don't expect to have a store lead that knows absolutely everything there is to know about Amazon, because Amazon's so robust and they're constantly adding new stuff. Sometimes that new stuff is worthwhile. Sometimes you end up learning it and you figure out that you just wasted your time because Amazon bails on it. So for example, if you've been following Amazon's social media platform for the past 4 or 5 years, maybe it's finally getting to the point where it's actually worth working with. Was it now called Amazon Posts? But man, for the past few years, it for sure has been a total bust. Not necessarily on the outreach side like Amazon Live and working with influencers, but I'm talking about their posting system. Amazon keeps on bailing on it. So anyway, point being is we don't expect anyone to come to the table with all of the Amazon knowledge. And that's why we want to operate as a team, and that's why we're building those team KPIs, those team targets, and those team bonuses, is so that if someone has information about what works, it's in the individual's best interest to share that. So during probably the next several months, we might not have this Amazon lead, this Amazon grand mentor. So the expectation is that information is just going to flow across the store leads, and including myself and Derek in that information flow as well. But in time, when we do find that perfect person to be our Amazon lead and grand mentor, that information is going to flow across. And through that grand mentor. That grand mentor is really going to be creating projects for testing out different things. Whatever works, that information cascades down, flows across. So basically, we're trying to share as much information as possible about what's working and what's not working. Cool. So, here, let me pause here. Okay, so as a store lead, you're going to be assigned to one of our Amazon seller accounts. And from there, you are going to be responsible for ultimately the bottom line, as well as some various other KPIs that we're going to be looking at. In terms of what you will actually be doing yourself, because we still have some layers of different skills of which you might be in charge of leading but not doing. There are also some universal projects that Derek is actually leading that are basically like Amazon empire wide. So what your day-to-day execution will look like is you have to be able to do PPC, because you'll be doing your own PPC at least for a while. From there, you are going to be observant of any other campaigns that are currently going on to collect, interpret, and report on data that comes from those campaigns. So for example, right now, we are in the middle of doing a massive overhaul of pretty much 100% of our content, which we have like 175 listings. So it's massive, spread across numerous brands. So we're doing like a total overhaul, new keyword research, everything, total overhaul. That project is being done at a higher layer, or a more zoomed out layer, meaning Derek is leading that project, and the listings that we are attacking first in priority are in line with the listings that we expect to add the most to the ultimate bottom line of NOVAEO. So as a stored lead, you aren't necessarily going to be pushing that project, but instead what you'll be doing is, as that project finishes content on listings that you're responsible for, you will then be responsible for recording, interpreting, and communicating the data of which those changes produce, and ultimately learning what's happening. And so from there, once we finish this massive overhaul, which is really just the goal of this project, is just to get decent looking content up. So many of our listings are lacking content fields because we went through a couple of years ago a rampant product development phase, and during that we kind of had, I don't know, really just had some hiccups with project management and various other things, to where we were launching listings with the expectation that we were going to finish the content after the listing was launched, but then it just never happened. And that happened a lot. So we have numerous listings that don't even have all the content fields filled out, numerous other listings that might have the content, but the content is either low quality or it might just be really outdated. We may have done some brand refreshes because we've done a lot of that over the past 2 years, and maybe some of these listings didn't get updated with the refresh. So basically, yeah, massive content overhaul. And once a listing gets completely overhauled with what we're calling milestone 1, to where the listing just looks decent, then we're going to move into milestone 2, which is actually trying to make the content more strategic specifically for that product. So milestone 1 is all about just following a very basic template. Milestone 2 is going to be more about being strategic. Once we go into milestone 2, that's when our store leads are going to have more of a say. Our store leads will then start communicating directly to our creative team, saying like, hey, look, I'd like to get 2 or 3 more primary images on these listings because I'd like to test them out. And even better, store leads is if you have some kind of direction for them. But we do have an Amazon creative director, so it's not imperative that you have a really good sense of creative. Really what matters more is you're looking at the numbers saying, that's a pretty shitty click-through rate. We should probably try a different primary image. You know, if our pricing seems decent and our reviews are decent, but our click-through rate still really sucks, it's probably the primary image. That's the store leads mentality. And then tasking goes out saying, hey, creative director, I need a few more primary images to split test. And if you have this kind of knowledge, not everyone needs to have this knowledge or skill set, but if you have a creative mind, you can say, hey, creative director, here's what I'm thinking, blah, 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 blah. And if you're really operating at a high level today, you might even be able to use some AI tools and within about 20 minutes, throw out like 10, 15 ideas of new primary images that you could give to our creative director and say, this is the direction I'm shooting for. Because AI tools are able to do things really, really fast right now, but they're not super high quality. So they're good for conceptualizing ideas, but not really for providing a finished product yet. We're probably about 3 months away from that, maybe 6. So anyway, that's how the store leads are going to be really operating for a while, because we still have all those other skill sets. We have those aside from PPC, because we're using our PPC team to become store leads. So store leads will do their own PPC, but when they need creative done, they'll talk to the creative director. Uploading and all that stuff, we have a team for that. Coming up with like new keywords, we have a set system, a set SOP for developing keywords and stuff like that. But store leads can be like, you know what? I want to try out a few different keywords. Target those really hard, really heavy. Let's change up the title. Let's change up the back end. Obviously, you can be adjusting PPC, whatever. So really, at any level, a store lead has an idea for what could benefit something. If we don't have a team specifically for it right now, then it should be able to get done at the individual level. But in most scenarios, we'll probably have a team that can get tasked in order to produce that stuff. And then really what the store lead's role becomes is watching the data. So watching the data and coming up with ideas for where we can try to, basically where's the data troublesome and what are ideas to fix that data? Or where's the data incredible and what are ideas to scale whatever might be working, so that we can scale that across not only the listings in your store, but remember, we're building the incentive system so that we're not just incentivizing the individual at the individual store level, but we're also creating incentives across the all the stores combined. So if you see something working, you're going to want to share that with the other store leads, because it's going to benefit everyone in the end. All right, let me pause again, see if I have anything else to talk about. Okay, so current team members, Derek and I already have a pretty good idea for what you know on Amazon, and we'll just talk to you guys directly for any skills and experience and passions that you might have that we're not yet utilizing you for, and we might not be aware of, but for the applicants, for you guys. So as we all know, Amazon is so robust. And again, there's no expectation for you to know everything about Amazon, but communicate in a selfie video, and you may as well go ahead and bullet point it out, written as well, all the things you know. And if it's something that's basic, then just leave it as a bullet. Don't go deep into something basic. But if you know something pretty creative, something that not a lot of people know, go deep into it. Convince me that you're going to bring something to this team of people that maybe no one else knows. Because if you can bring in some piece of knowledge and we can scale that across 175 listings and multiple people, that might be really, really valuable knowledge to have. Communicate your interests and your passions. Are you more of a networker? Are you more of someone that just likes to sit by yourself and just really go deep? Whatever it is, because of the way we're building this, we have room for every single personality type, every single passion that you might have. Maybe you're more in the numbers, maybe you're more in the creative, whatever it is. Communicate yourself freely. Do not try to guess what NOVAEO wants. Do not try to guess what I want, because we want everything. So above that, we want honesty, we want transparency. Communicate what you're great at. Honestly, preferably, I know you guys don't have a level of trust with me yet, but if you guys communicate to me what you suck at, then it communicates to me what you're aware of. Because that's what happens a lot of times, is people believe they know 90% of Amazon, when in reality they might only know 20%, because the thing is they actually just don't know what they don't know. And that's a huge thing. To know what you don't know is huge, because then if you are a self-learner, or even if you're just operating in a team full of other people that might be self-learners, or a team of people that know a lot of shit, you know what questions to ask, you know what to research. If you know what you don't know, that's pretty valuable too. So, applicants, communicate for sure what you don't know. If it's basic, go ahead and speak it, because it's a bullet point. But if it's a little bit more creative, go deeper into it, and then also communicate what you don't know. So, same kind of thing on interests. So not just what you know, but also what you're interested in. Communicate what you're interested in. Communicate what you're not interested in. Because ultimately, we're not looking for anyone that's going to check every single box, but we do want to check every single box once we look at the whole entire team. And right now, even I don't know what boxes we currently have checked between all of our current team members. So again, no assumptions need to be made. All right, one more pause. I feel like I'm pretty much ready to wrap this up. Okay, let me talk big picture goals and money real quick. So Derek and I are still formulating these KPIs, the target system at the individual level, at the guild level. The third level I didn't mention before is the community level or the team level. So obviously there's more impact on the success of how we do on Amazon than just the store leads, than just an Amazon lead. Our creatives, our customer service, all of it actually ties in together. So we're actually having full like team-wide goals as well, which there'll be incentive. But where we're really wanting to focus is the guild level. So store level, and then combining all the stores together and looking at that. So once upon a time, we were at the $1 million a month revenue range. We had some really bad shit happen that, I don't know, my lawyer told me not to talk about because Jeff Bezos would probably sue our asses. But some really unfair stuff happened to us where we went from $1 million a month to 0 a month overnight. And that was back at the very end of 2019. We're still in recovery mode from that. But this year, things have really started flowing, especially this month, actually. So our target is by the end of this month to have, or by the end of this year, to have our first $1 million month in a long time. If we get there, and really along the way, all the store leads, and especially the Amazon lead, but for sure, really all the store leads too, really anyone working at Amazon should be making really good money. Most of that money is not going to be coming through salaries, it's going to be coming through the targets, and we're just going to keep on ramping up the incentives based on the targets, because as the targets get harder and harder, it means we need to be leveling ourselves up more and more, and we're going to be getting to the point where those targets, those incentives based on those targets are actually going to be more overall than the salary itself. So for the new applicants, whatever starting salary we're offering you, you have upward trajectory to the Amazon lead. That's going to be an available position for a little while. Again, remember to mention if that's a role that you are interested in being considered for. But even if not, even if you're operating at the Amazon store lead level, which is still very high level, then even still you should be over double your salary from the bonuses if you are successful and if we are successful as a team. And that should all be happening by the end of this year if we are in trajectory to hit that end of year target. So I'm sorry that I can't be very, very specific, and I can only imagine how important it would be for you to hear specifics, but I'm just not prepared to give those numbers yet. But I will say that it's very, very important to me, actually specifically, personally, that everyone on the NOVAEO team, not just Amazon team, everyone on the NOVAEO team is living a life that is full of freedom, and one of the most important parts of freedom is financial freedom. So that's somewhere I want to get you no matter what. So you can have that trust with me, or you can hold me to that at the very least. If we are in trajectory to hit that $1 million a month, our incentives are just going to keep on going up, or excuse me, our incentives based on the targets are just going to keep on going up and up and up. Current team members, yes, that means that you guys should be over double where you are at currently if we maintain that trajectory, which would be pretty sweet. I think that's pretty much all I have. So definitely open to as many questions as you guys might have. Yeah, some other stuff. Talk about some of your personal experience too. So I asked you to talk about what you know, but what you know, I'm leaving that very vague, by the way. It's like, what do you know inside the Amazon platform? What do you know of like third-party tools and how to use them? What do you know of networking groups? What do you know? I'm leaving it very vague. What do you know? And what are you interested in? So I'm intentionally leaving that vague. I just gave you a couple hints right there. Yeah, what else? All right, one more pause. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna say. Talk about the markets that you've worked in, the categories. And also, again, interest. So what do you know in terms of the categories that you've worked in? What do you know, or what are you interested in terms of the categories? And again, okay, so we're into cosmetics, dietary supplements, healthy sweeteners, tea. I don't know, I'm probably forgetting a couple things like superfoods, some other stuff. If you're more into other stuff, or if you only have experience in other stuff, it's cool. Communicate that, because what we are actually building on a higher level strategically than just Amazon is we are building these cookie cutter templates to be able to launch more brands, get into every single market that you could possibly get into that is interesting to us. So just because we don't have something today doesn't mean that we're not planning for it. And so if you bring that to the table, if you bring that knowledge, if you bring that interest to the table, then that means we can get there even faster. So again, don't assume, don't guess the answers. You know what I mean? Just be super transparent, just be super real. That goes a really long way with me in general. Even in friendships, even in dating, be super real. So be super real in your response. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Current team members, Derek's going to roll out a lot more information about what I just talked about here, if he hasn't already. But yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. All right, guys, cool. Thanks for watching.